Not even the MAGA cult is showing up to see this disastrous so-called documentary.
They're on Craigslist trying to pay people to see this movie.
The Melania documentary is already a box office flop. It turns out that nobody wants to see a dictator's wife's $75 million home movie. At the London premiere, only one ticket was even sold, and part of me thinks that was a mistake. I bet somebody was just drunk on their phone and they clicked the wrong movie in the drop-down menu.
All right, so I'm super excited, super excited. I am actually going to the drive-in movie, and I'm going to see the new Melania. I know, but I want to see what it's about. So here we go, drive-in. Wow, this is crystal clear. Man, they must have got Dolby surround sound. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Okay, wait. You know a movie's bad when people don't show up to watch it, right? Like, bare minimum, the seats should be filled with some diehard supporters, a few bots, maybe a confused tourist. But you really know a movie is trash when they start running Craigslist ads like, yo, $50 to sit through this 90-minute mess and pretend you're inspired. But this Melania Trump situation, this wasn't just a flop. This was historic. Like, historians will look back and say, ah yes, the great cinematic FAFO of 2026. And I'm sorry, I love how they really thought they were about to have a red carpet moment right in the middle of Trump setting the country on fire with his bare orange-stained hands. Like, ma'am, your husband is literally out here playing global dictator fan fiction, and you thought people would pause the apocalypse to go watch your movie? Come on. People were like, actually, I'd pay $400 not to see that. And that right there is the most American thing I've heard all week. Someone said, I'd rather rewatch Michelle Obama's Becoming while doing taxes with no refund in sight than sit through one frame of that Melania flick. And honestly, I felt that. And don't even get me started on how tone deaf this whole rollout was. Like, your man is currently getting dragged again through the Epstein files. I mean, the Trump files, let's be real. He's ghosted his own supporters, healthcare prices are body slamming people into poverty, and now y'all want us to gather in theaters like it's 2019 and nothing's wrong? Ain't nobody watching that. But also, and I gotta say this carefully, the way Trump fans still meat riding this dude, like, bro, the man bankrupted a casino. A casino. That's like losing money running a water stand during a drought. How do you mess that up? And yet they still hit you with, he's just such a strong leader, honest, runs it like a business. Yeah, so did Fire Festival, bro. Anyway, not to be that guy, but the flop was so massive, if Trump had reviewed it himself, he'd be like, she flopped tremendously. Never seen a flop like this. Beautiful flop. But listen, y'all know me. I'm Glenn. Highly caffeinated, mildly petty, always opinionated. If you're new here, welcome to Think Out Loud, where we call out nonsense with a sprinkle of sarcasm and a venti-sized dose of common sense. And to my regulars, my digital ride or dies, you already know what this is. Grab your drink, slam that like button like it owes you rent, and let's get into today's glorious FAFO masterpiece. Because when it comes to Melania's movie, let's just say America voted with their wallets and they said, keep it. Let's roll.
Everybody wants tickets to the premiere.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
So y'all, it looks like if you want to be alone, go see the Melania movie. Ticket sales are down worldwide.
Well, the First Lady's $57 million documentary looks on track to bomb at the box office.
In Australia, Hoyts has reportedly sold just one pre-sale ticket for the film, which...
I just read a report that in Australia, one ticket has sold for her movie at one of their major movie theaters. And in the UK, only 7 tickets have sold nationwide. No theaters are sold out in the United States, and nobody is going to see this movie. It is on track to be one of the worst grossing movies of all time. South Africa has refused to show the movie.
So the Melania Trump movie, which is releasing in theaters this week, is on track to flop badly. Nobody is going to see it. I mean, this is just straight up embarrassing. If you look at some popular theaters in major cities across the United States, it's pretty bad. Like, for example, Friday, January 30th, 4 p.m. at Lincoln Square, New York City. It's an AMC theater. Look at all of the empty seats, and this is release day, and nobody's going. Or the 8 p.m. showing on Friday, January 30th at the AMC in Burbank, California. Nobody's going. And it's not just happening in blue cities and blue states, courtesy of MS Now. These are theaters near Mar-a-Lago, where Melania Trump lives, and look at them as well. Nobody is going to see it. And there are so many different examples of this. If you look at your local theater, you'll probably see the same thing. But what's even funnier about this whole saga is not only is the movie going to flop, but Amazon spent tens of millions of dollars to own the rights to the movie and promoting it. They even bought an ad on the Vegas Sphere, and it's going to flop. They will not be getting their investment back.
So, the Melania movie is out here doing numbers. Just not the kind of numbers you brag about. Empty theaters, soft sales, seats so lonely they're starting a group chat and group therapy. This is giving matinee ghost. And the best part? I am sat for Felon 47's reaction. He's gonna say it's the most beautiful documentary ever made. He's gonna claim millions tried to see it. He's gonna hint that the ticket machines were turned off. He's gonna fabricate another lie. The demand was so high, it crashed the Fandango app. Meanwhile, the popcorn is still warm because nobody touched it. But if Michelle Obama dropped a movie tomorrow, it would be sold out everywhere. Lines around the block, extra shows added, people calling in sick to work. That's what real culture pull looks like. But the real question begs to be answered. Where was his maggot base? Where was the We Love Melania people? Where are the flags, the caravans, the bulk ticket buys, the performative loyalty? Because if this woman was really beloved, the theaters would have been packed with red hats and folding chairs. They show up for rallies in cornfields. They camp out for merch. But for her movie? Crickets. Not a single patriotic popcorn in sight. They don't love Melania. They perform love for Melania when it's useful. They pretend devotion online. They vanish when it requires effort or money. It's all vibes, no action. All caps, no receipts. So yeah, they're all liars. The loudest fans are also the flakiest. Turns out Ride or Die stops at the box office. So in the meantime, tantrum loading, truth social meltdown imminent, blame buffet fully stocked. I can't wait.
And you know what really seals the coffin on this cinematic faceplant? Even MAGA, the ride or die, bleed red hat, storm the Capitol before coffee crowd, they didn't show up either. I mean, this is the same crew that allegedly gave Trump 80 million votes, or whatever fantasy number they're running with now. You'd think a few of those folks would roll up to support the First Lady of Fascism on opening weekend. Like, this is your queen. Y'all were ready to knit her a MAGA tiara back in 2020, but when the popcorn hit the fan, crickets. Not even a Facebook meme campaign to get people to buy tickets. Just silence. Maybe even embarrassment? I don't know. Maybe they all just quietly agreed in their little Telegram group chat, hey y'all, this ain't it. We'll sit this one out. God bless. And let's talk about the timing, shall we? Because this premiere was so tone deaf, it might as well have been playing a flute made out of Marjorie Taylor Greene's logic. You released a vanity movie while ICE is catching bodies, while your husband is low-key running a regime so wild it makes North Korea look subtle, while American families can't even afford butter, and your idea was, let's drop a feel-good flick about me and hope people forget my man's on every page of the Epstein files. Come on, Mel. And here's the kicker. Word on the digital grapevine is that she's mad. Like pointing fingers at Trump mad. Sources say Melania is blaming him for the flop, which, honestly, makes sense. Because how are you supposed to launch a movie when your man is out here leveling nations, separating families, and casually destroying whatever's left of the economy? Like, ma'am, nobody's rushing to a theater to watch you say, "Be best," while your husband is out here being the literal worst. But hey, if you want a taste of the kind of chaos she's blaming him for, if you need a little visual of what we're talking about when we say evil, go ahead and watch this next clip. Because we haven't even gotten to the part where it gets dark yet. And trust me, it gets real dark. Roll it.
Baby, I need to know what's going to happen. I mean, this is really becoming sickening because not in this new foul drop, number 47 forced a young girl to do what? As in oral what? Why are they not getting this man out of here? And yet his supporters will still defend this man. Why is he not being walked away in handcuffs? Do people not get how disturbing this is? Why is this man still sitting in the office? Why is this man getting the freedom to just do whatever the hell he wants, knowing that he's being accused in those files?
Yeah, and honestly, she's asking the most important question in the whole room, which is why is he still free? Like, actually free. Walking around, golfing, selling meme coins, dropping speeches, pretending he's Moses with a spray tan. This is the same man we've been told is chosen by God to lead the nation. Chosen by God. Now listen, if God really did choose him, and I'm just thinking out loud here, don't quote me in a theology class, the only explanation that even remotely makes sense in my mortal brain is that maybe he was chosen to expose the rot. Like a divine stress test, you know? Put the worst possible candidate in charge and just let America look at itself in the mirror. I heard someone say, America isn't the way it is because we have the president we have. No, we have the president we have because America is the way it is. Evil. And honestly, that tracks. The number of people claiming to be Christians who hate their neighbor, who lie, who do hurtful things to children, the list is endless. But even that feels generous. Because I'm not convinced by that theory either. I personally would still like to see every single person involved in this mess actually be held accountable. Not podcast deals, not book tours, not oops, my bad apologies. I mean real consequences. Now imagine the whole world knows all this. The Epstein stuff, the corruption, the chaos, the families being ripped apart, the iqtisad, yeah, I'm throwing Arabic in there now, the economy on life support. And somewhere in your tiny little bird brain, you're like, yeah, this is the perfect time to release my movie. A movie about you, ma'am. No, it does not work like that. People are not stupid anymore. Well, okay, I shouldn't say people. Let me not go there. I can't speak for MAGA. That's a whole separate research paper. But the rest of the world, the majority of people, they've woken up. The vibes are different. The optics are different. This whole smile and wave and maybe they'll forget era is over. You don't get to rebrand while Rome is literally on fire. You don't drop a vanity project while your husband is trending next to words like indictment and files. And the funniest part, the saddest part, the most delusional part, somebody somewhere genuinely thought this would help. So yeah, let's watch a few more clips of how the world is reacting to this cinematic crime against timing, because this flop isn't just embarrassing, it's historical. Roll the clips.
So Trump just tweeted every single seat for the Melania and Trump movie was sold out in all theaters in the world. But it gets so much worse. 10 million people on Twitter are showing theaters where not a single ticket sold for the opening night of Melania at Boston's largest theater. And people were pointing out that I love that this is verifiable. Otherwise, we get headlines about how every single theater was sold out and it was a smashing success, along with fake pictures made from AI of packed out premiere showing. Well, it seems like Trump wanted to sell that idea, so they're right. Since we actually have the internet and we could show people things, nobody was going to this movie. I feel like even if I was a massive Trump supporter, I wouldn't even go to this movie just because I would think like walking to go see this movie, someone might attack me. Like that's how bad people don't like Trump. So I'm like, I wouldn't even feel safe to go watch this movie even if I wanted to.
All right, so I'm super excited, super excited. I am actually going to the drive-in movie, And I'm going to see the new Melania. I know, but I want to see what it's about. So here we go. Drive in. Wow, this is crystal clear. Man, they must have got Dolby surround sound. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Look at it. Oh my God, the new Melania is starting out just fantastic. Look at all of the information, and it's just awesome. I'm learning so much about Melania Trump right now. This is a cinematic experience. I am just so excited to be here, man. I'm so glad that y'all can join me in watching the new Melania Trump movie. This is just awesome. Okay, did you feel the magic? This movie was incredible. It was incredible. I mean, Oscar the Grouch could not have put together a better cinematic experience for me. This was just phenomenal.
The Melania documentary is already a box office flop. It turns out that nobody wants to see a dictator's wife's $75 million home movie. At the London premiere, only one ticket was even sold, and part of me thinks that was a mistake. I bet somebody was just drunk on their phone and they clicked the wrong movie in the drop-down menu. 2/3 of the crew who worked on the movie asked to be uncredited, kind of like the people who cashed their $50,000 bonus check from ICE and then cover their fugly faces while they cause terror in American streets. And yes, I know that the movie industry is very difficult right now, and joining ICE is not the same as working on the Melania movie, but it's a little bit the same. The crew also said they worked long hours, which were deeply chaotic, and they were also often denied lunch breaks. The fact that this movie was funded by Amazon and they are treating the crew members exactly like they're Amazon workers is no surprise. The crew pretty much blames director Brett Ratner for their hard working conditions, but it is funny that they told Rolling Stone that even though Ratner was slimy, Melania Trump, while boring, was totally nice. Of course she was totally nice. This woman made $30 million for this home movie. This is in The Guardian about how it's apparently totally legal for Melania to get paid $30 million for a documentary, and it's because she isn't part of the government. She's just a private citizen who happens to be married to the president. So yeah, of course she was nice on set. She was getting paid. So that's what Jeff Bezos is doing with your money that you spend on Amazon. He's giving it to Melania Trump. I mean, he's also getting lots of plastic surgery with his wife, something that they should definitely both stop doing. The movie was directed by Hollywood super creep Brett Ratner. Now, I don't know if they chose Brett because of his sexual assault allegations or because he's on the Epstein list, but I have a feeling it was both. This is what happens when fascists try to make art in a late-stage capitalistic society where everyone is struggling to pay their bills. Because even if you already believe the propaganda, you can't even afford to spend the money to go see it in a theater. And because MAGA are both so anti-immigrant and anti-woman, there's no way they're going to spend money to see their dictator's immigrant wife's soulless, elongated selfie of a movie with the appeal of a dead jellyfish on the beach. And if Melania is sad about the fact that no one came to see her movie, I think it's really important that we tell her, I don't really care. Do you?
Hi everyone, I made $400 today watching the Melania movie over and over and over again, and honestly, you guys probably could too. So here's how this happened. I basically woke up this morning and saw that there was an ad on Craigslist advertising an opportunity to make $50 if you go and see the Melania movie in theaters. And so I talked to the person in the ad. I said, yeah, I'm willing to go to the movie and sit through the movie. I went, watched it. It was, exactly how you'd expect. And then I said, if I sit through another showing, can I just get another $50? And they were like, yeah, sure. So I went to a 9 a.m. screening and I basically worked a 9 to 5. I went from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and I watched the movie 8 times in a row. And by watched, I mean, I just looked at my phone. I didn't actually have to really watch. I just had to sit there for the entire screening. And so in total, I made $400. At this point, I've seen the movie so many times that I essentially know the entire thing by heart. And I can now do a spot-on impression of Melania here. For Christmas, I want peace on the world. Hell. See, I got it down.
See, if you ask me, there is a direct link between Melania flopping and the midterms. Because the amount of people who are willing to go out and see this movie directly correlate with the amount of people who are willing to support what this man does. And what this White House is finding out is that bot farms don't buy movie tickets. The muskrat can't work the machines and make people go watch his wife's terrible movie. And if they can't even break $5 million in an opening weekend, which right now they're saying projections for this movie for the entire release could add up to about $2 million, there's no way you can tell me that does not directly correlate with the amount of support he could see come voting time. And of course, let's talk about this obsession that he has, right? This obsession with the 2020 election that he lost. This obsession with Obama somehow interfering with the 2016 election that he won. The fact that he constantly reminds the people of Minneapolis that voting has consequences. If you look in his last few True Social posts when he's talking about how much they need ICE or how much this country needs ICE, one of the things he always brings up is how much voting has consequences. In fact, let's just talk about how every single post he makes, he's talking about how much the people wanted this. The people voted for this. Every time they go on TV, they talk about how the people voted for this. Every time they sit in a round table on Fox News, or if you see Scott Jennings on Abby Phillips, any MAGA talking head, any super hardcore right-wing podcaster, they all talk about how everybody overwhelmingly voted for this. They do this over and over again because the reality is they don't have the support. They don't have the numbers. They probably have less numbers now than they did when the 2024 election happened. And the thing about midterm elections is they cannot be controlled as much as presidential elections, right? It's multiple elections happening all over the country, many states, all happening at the same time. It is hard to control all of that. So that is why they have to sow the seeds of distrust in our electoral process right now. That is why they have to put this spell out there over their voting base right now. Because when that loss does come, you already know the first thing they're going to do is cry that it was all rigged, it was all set up, it was all this, it was all that. There was something going on that was working against them that was not legit, and that explains why they did not get the votes that they got. Ladies and gentlemen, that is why I say it is important to pay attention to what's going on with Melania, because that is a real indicator. Those are real numbers. That is a real way to see what type of support he actually has all across the country.
You know, the more I sit with all this, the more I realize we're not just watching a political circus anymore. This ain't clowns juggling policies for laughs. This is an unraveling in real time. A whole country being gaslit into thinking up is down, guilty is innocent, and failure is somehow leadership. But hey, I want to hear how you see this mess. And if this is your first time here, welcome to the Unfiltered Zone. I'm Glenn, sometimes petty, always wired, rarely wrong. I break down the madness so you don't have to drown in it. To my OGs, y'all know me, I got nothing but love. Hit that like if you laughed, blinked hard in disbelief, or yelled, "What?" at least once. And if you think this video needs to be seen by somebody you know, someone who still thinks Melania has a fan base outside of Mar-a-Lago, send it their way.